Hello. Today we're going to talk about paying for college, which is super fun. Just kidding. But hopefully you can see this. Oh no, that's going to be bothersome. Oh well, we'll just deal with it. It's fine. I'll just sit in the way of it too. It's fine. Anyways, so today we're talking about college, but not really, because we're going to talk about ways to pay for college. Now, let me start off by saying, number one, these headphones are messed up and lame. Maybe I should get those like big boom headphones things that they're like right here. I don't know. That's not cool. I mean, I guess maybe they are. I don't know. It's cool. I teach middle school. It's fine. It's not that middle schoolers aren't cool. That's not it. They're just cooler than me. It's fine. Anyways, so I actually wore my Texas State shirt just for this. Shout out Texas State. I'm also wearing basketball shorts. Don't judge me. We're not at school. This is what at home learning looks like. Anyways, ways to pay for college. Let me start off by saying not everyone needs to go to college. Not everyone has to go to college. Not college is not for everyone. And I know that I'm not supposed to say that because I'm a teacher, but there are some really amazing things out there that don't require you to go to college, or some things that you might be really interested in. A couple of really big things. A lot of high schools, the high school that I work, so the high school that students go to in San Marcos, has a lot of really amazing programs where you leave high school with you can leave high school with certifications and things like that, to where you can already go out and get the job that you want. So there are some really amazing things at the high school for our students and stuff like that. So definitely something to check out. Most high schools do have that. Uh, and I didn't know about a lot of them when I was going to school, and I wish I had, because I think it's a really amazing program. But so that's one thing. Second thing, there is community college. So honestly, junior colleges and stuff like that, they are a great step. If you want to go to college, but maybe you can't afford the full tuition, which we'll talk about too, that's a great first step, because usually your classes are cheaper and things like that. A lot of nursing degrees and things like that, that can be something that you start in. Let's see. Another thing is, a lot of places, a lot of the big jobs that can pay really well, you're going to have to get certifications for, maybe outside of high school and things like that. So one way that you can get really good at stuff is start thinking about what you want to do now. Middle school, if you're already in high school, start thinking about it. If you are an adult watching this and you want to go back to college, then cool. Here's some ways to pay for it. But I say that because, I mean, my own brother is a police officer, and I mean, he did the college thing, and I tried to help him with math. He would not take my help because I'm younger than him, so he was being stubborn. But he went to college, played some football and things like that, and then he ended up going into a different job in the oil fields, and now he's doing like his dream job, pretty much, is being a police officer. So he went to the training academy and police academy and things like that, and he is rocking it out. Shout out to my brother, he's the best. Following in my dad's footsteps, because that's what my dad did. My dad never graduated from college. He had issues in college that I won't talk about on here, but did not. He didn't finish college, and he ended up going in and being a police officer and things like that for his entire life. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. So let's talk about how, if this is the route that you want to go, what does that look like, right? So first off, there's something called financial aid. So financial aid is any kind of money that you can, that is used to kind of help you pay for education and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can get into. FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's a big, fancy word. One thing that it can do is it can provide you with some money to help you pay for college, depending on kind of like your need. So that's a big thing, is it depends on what you need. Okay, so first one after that, so that's kind of like the big overarching thing, is we're talking about financial aid, so ways to help you pay for college. Okay, so first one, scholarships. Let's talk about scholarships, because that's the one that most people know about. I really hope I spelled that right. You know when you like see a word over and over again, you think it's wrong? That word. Also, English language is stupid. SCH. Scholarships. Whatever. Anyways, okay. So most people, when they think of scholarships, they think of like sports and stuff like that, especially with the draft happening right now and things like that. Shout out NFL. But scholarships aren't just about sports. It's about music. It can be about like how well you're doing in school. So that's a really big thing, is that a lot of times the better you're doing in school, you can have a scholarship. Now, another big issue that I have a lot of students over the years, they say the same thing, which is, I'm going to go and I'm going to play football and da-da-da-da, but they're not passing my class. Here's the deal with scholarships. You can lose them. If you're not passing your class, you can't play. You get put on academic probation. Depending on the school, it could be where like now they're looking at your grades. So you could lose your scholarship pretty quickly within the course of a year. And then now what are you going to do, right? So I always tell people, number one, if you want to play sports, you want to be in a band, you want to do something really cool, you want to be a designer, you want to be an artist, you want to be all these kind of things, I think it's amazing and I think it's awesome. I think that you always have to know that you have a backup plan too. So in case that doesn't work, I did not have a backup plan. I hoped that education worked, and thankfully it did for me. And I don't know what I would have done. I would have worked 3 jobs to figure it out, but that is the reality, is that you have to make sure that you have backup plans. Okay. So scholarships are a really great thing. Scholarships are pretty much like, you've done something really great, so they're going to give you free money pretty much. It doesn't need to be paid back. So it's something that you've been awarded with, right? You did something great, so here's an award. They don't just go around like giving out scholarships. It's like one of those things where like you also apply, things like that. You can apply for a lot of scholarships too. Like, it's not like one of those things where like someone, like a genie, like pops up and is like, here's some money, right? So you can actually apply for scholarships too. So they don't need to be paid back. There's a full scholarship where everything's paid for. There's part scholarships. There's scholarships where they're gonna pay like, they're gonna pay like $1,000 towards your tuition or your school, and that's great. Like the guy that was like number 1 in our class, can't remember his name. It's gonna bother me. But what I do remember is when they're listing off all of his academic achievements. Well, first of all, he had perfect attendance since kindergarten. I don't even know how you do that. That kid probably came to school sick. Must have. Whatever. Anyways, led him to be a genius. So he had they started listing off his scholarships, and it was, over 5 scholarships, So that kid's college was paid for sure. So scholarships awarded, things like that. Okay. The next one is a grant. So grants are difficult because grants go based off of financial needs. So if your parents have a lot of money, this is not something that probably is going to be for you. Unless you're going off on your own. Maybe your parents aren't going to pay for anything and you have to do everything on your own and by yourself, then guess what? This is for you. So a grant is money that is given for financial needs. So scholarship, you've been awarded money. Grants, it's something based off of a financial need. Okay, so that's kind of where they're different, but they're both free money that you don't have to pay back, which is fantastic. Okay, so that's a grant. So both of these are free money. So I'm gonna put that, and I'm gonna hope that I don't rip out my ears in the process. Ooh, textured wall for the win. Free. That's a textured wall right there. That looks ridiculous. Okay, so then you have a work study. So it kind of is just like it says, like you're going to be working while you're studying, right? So this could look a lot different depending on what you're doing. So some people, they're working in things that they're going to do and what their majors in and what they want to do for their lives, you know. Zach worked on campus. My friend worked on campus. Too late. So I knew people that worked on campus and they went to school and things like that. So one of the cool things about working on campus is that you're already there. So if you have a class, then you just go to your work. And he had a pretty easy job where he sat at computer labs and like fixed people's computers. If like he usually just told them to turn it back on, turn it off, and turn it back on. If it's not working, turn it off, turn it back on. And was able to do his work and stuff like that for actual school. Okay, so that's like you're working towards it, and you're kind of just putting money that you're working towards your schooling, towards your tuition is what it's called. Tuition is what it's called. Okay. The last one, student loans. So a student loan is what most people have. Most people have these kind of things. It's literally a loan for students. It could be a lot of different loans, but you're literally given money that you're going to have to pay back later. So one thing that's kind of cool though with student loans is that they don't, most of the time they don't start charging you and making you pay it back until you've graduated and you have a job. Okay. The problem is a loan, any kind of loan that you have to pay back, there's going to be interest. So if you remember, interest is what they're charging you because they've loaned you money, they're going to charge you money. So it's just a way for them to get more money from you. I know that's kind of sucky, but that's what they do. But so student loans they're not great, but because you have to pay them back and things like that. And so college is really expensive. And so this is one way that you can go through college, get a job, and all that kind of cool stuff. So here's so you have to pay these back. So don't have to pay back, don't have to pay back. This is just it's a program where you're working and you're doing school. And then you have student loans. These have to be paid back. They're not free. Okay. That's not free money. So don't think that it is. You have to pay them back. You don't pay them back, then your credit score goes down. Your credit history is bad. So definitely remember, credit score being bad is a bad thing, right? Credit score being low is a bad thing. Repeating myself, it's fine. The cool thing about all this stuff though is that you can mix and match. So you could have a scholarship, a grant, be working on campus, and you could be doing a student loan. So it doesn't have to be one or the other, you know. And then there's other people that like they started saving. So starting to save like when you're younger and things like that, like we've already kind of started saving for our kids, even though they can't read yet. It's pretty weird to watch and think about that far ahead. But it is something that you can do, is like you can pay through your savings and things like that. And you can do online classes, and a lot of times online classes are cheaper too. And so there's a lot of really great options, thankfully. The big thing is college is expensive. We're talking like, if you're going to school in state, so let's say Texas State, for 4 years, it's going to cost you about $44,821. I just looked it up. It's like super current. That's a lot of money over 4 years. I mean, you're talking about like, most of the time it's about $11,500. That's if you're in the state. So if you're going somewhere out of state, it's even more expensive. Talking like $20,000, stuff like that. You're talking about like an Ivy League school, private schools, it's going to be really expensive. But I think if you have a plan going in, you're trying to get scholarships and grants and financial aid and things like that, getting a job on campus and things like that, or getting a job in general, trying to pay all that stuff, being really careful because books are expensive too. Just watching your money. This is why when I've talked before about watching your money, getting a budget, things like that, those are all really, really important things to do. and start thinking about what you want to do. Like, I have a friend who is a doctor, and I had no idea, but the kid was pulling a 4.0 all through college. And then once I graduated and I started working, he was still going to school, and that's just something that has to happen as a doctor and things like that. But now he's making bank. He's making way more than I am, which is good because he's way smarter than I am. Not saying that teachers aren't smart. It's just that that guy is a genius. I don't know how he's that smart. But I'm smart in my own way. It's fine. I have positive things about my brain. Even that sentence was beautiful. Okay, anyways. So paying for college, scholarships free, grants free. The big thing here is talking to a counselor. Like, so if you're wanting to go and do anything, talking to somebody at the college that you want to go to, talking about financial aid, talking about how to pay for it, because there's so much stuff out there that you wouldn't even think about. HEB is a big thing. HEB has a lot of scholarships that they give out, things like that. So, yeah. So, but remember, whatever you want to do, just research it, figure out how much school you need, what kind of certifications you need, and have a backup plan. Start saving, have a backup plan. Every time, whenever you get a job, just make sure you put a little bit away, put some away, put some away, put some away. And I think that whatever you want to do, you just go after it 100%. Don't slack, and everything will be fine. So the next one, we're going to talk about different jobs and stuff like that, and how those jobs and their money can affect over time and things like that. But yeah, remember, you don't have to go to college. It's a great thing to do, but you don't have to. But just have a plan. That's the big thing, is have a plan. And then what's the phrase? Oh, you work your plan. So